Hello, welcome to Wicked Pixels, welcome to part number 4 of Learn to Slay, where I'm talking you through playing Slay the Spire 2 from the ground up. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos, then please have a look in the description below for the links. Go and check out the first 3 parts and then come back and join us for the final part of our dungeon run, where we're looking at making some good choices, setting off on the 3rd floor of the Spire and looking to slay the boss. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Alright, so here we are in Act 3. It's been quite a tricky run. We've got a very interesting build. It's not quite that strong, but it's getting us there. We need to really focus on getting some more health. Maybe some max health would really help with the amount of damage we're actually doing to ourselves. Maybe a card that's going to help heal us. That would be really helpful. We definitely need to get some heals now, and we need to start whittling down our deck. It's still an 18 card deck. It's not that efficient. We've got too many brands. We definitely don't need both of these. And we just need to get some better defensive cards if we can. So we've got a sort of game plan at this point. We know what we need to do. We've got lots of nice relics. We need some more defensive options, and we need to get rid of our weak attacks. That's what we're really looking to do. So before we start this part of the dungeon, obviously I'm going to take the heal, and then we're also going to look at, so we've got some interesting choices here. So we've got raise your max HP by 31. That's going to be really useful for a deck that is dealing damage to itself to win the game. We've also got Delicate Frond at the start of each combat, filling all empty potion shots with random potions. That's each combat. That's a really strong effect. Now potions are a bit random, and sure, you might not get ones that are going to be helpful, but most potions are helpful in some capacity in most fights. So this is a really strong option as well. Bear in mind with the Ironclad, some of the potions we get are actually going to restore 20% of our max HP, so that potentially could be even better than Looming Fruit. And I mean, this doesn't actually heal us, this just raises the ceiling for our health. I think it might give us the 31 initially. It puts us on a large health pool. It means we can heal up to a large amount. Interesting. So we've got some good choices here. Signet Ring, upon pick up, again 999 gold. We've already got 260. Let's have a little look at the map and see how useful that's going to be. We've got 1, 2 and 3. We could potentially access free merchants here, guys. This is really interesting. We've got 3 amazing options. They're all very good. The max HP one, I'm not sure how much that helps us. It definitely gives us more health. That's really useful, but it doesn't make us more effective in combat, and that's what we need now. So we need to be able to take on these difficult fights that we've got coming up and the boss at the end. Now if we get to that boss and we've already had loads of health knocked out of us by the elites or the enemies, then that max HP is going to make any difference really. I think that's the weakest one. At the start of each combat, filling up all empty potions with random potions sounds really interesting. These are both very strong. I might have to have a little think here. So it's the fact that we've got the 3 merchants lined up that's really tempting me towards the 999 gold. It's gonna give us what, 1,259 gold to spend. So we're definitely cutting some cards out, which is what we need. We can definitely buy some potions if we want some. I think that's what we go for. We can selectively buy the potions ourselves. We can buy the ones that we want. We're going to be able to buy as many as we need. So I think this is a really good option. I think we go with the gold, guys. Let's do that. Alright, so knowing that we are instantly looking at the merchants as being the main way to go, then we're just going to go through the merchants. We're going to kill an elite. We can dodge this one if we're feeling a bit unlucky, like we know that we're going to die. We can get a heal. We don't have to fight all the elites at this point, but we do have the option. So we've got a few on the way. Let's see, we go through an event. We go through 2 events, which means we're going to avoid a little bit of the basic fighting. Bearing in mind, we don't really want any extra cards at this point. There's not much that's going to drop in that's going to help us really. It's just more about whittling the cards out of our deck that we don't want, and hopefully upgrading as well. In terms of rest sites, we've definitely got 1. We're going to miss it actually if we go through this merchant here. So that is 1 missed rest site, something to bear in mind. We will get 1 here. And if we still need to go to the merchant, it's not going to make any difference. So we've got options. I think we sort of know already, as soon as we hit that 999 gold, we know we're going this way. We know we're going merchant hunting. We can still hit the elites. We can still hit a couple of rest sites, or at least one rest site. We could feasibly, let's see how much we spend here. We could miss this one and go for the upgrade instead. That would be an option, and that would give us 2 upgrades, which might be helpful, and potentially a 3rd upgrade as well once we get there. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick update. I've done the first couple of merchants here. In the first fight we did okay. We did take a little bit of damage, but it wasn't too bad. We then got through an event where we had to take 15 damage, but we did get 3 card upgrades, which was pretty huge. So we hit a couple of cards upgraded. We got Iron Wave, Rupture, and Brand were all upgraded. We then went to the first merchant. We did find a blood potion, so we bought that and we healed for 16, which put us up a little bit higher because we're quite low at this point. We then grabbed a Evil Eye, so I did add a card to the deck because we're looking at more defensive options. We're noticing the blocks not the best, and these enemies are going to hit really hard in this area. So we picked up Evil Eye, which synergizes quite well with our Brand, where we're exhausting cards. So we're quite, once we get the powers whittled out of our deck from using them, of which there are 4. So we run 17 cards, but once we've played these, we're down to 13 cards. So if we've got like 6 cards in hand, we're looking at a good possibility of having a Brand in there anytime we've got an Evil Eye. So we've got a reason, but to be fair, having 2 Brands is now quite useful. So taking 1 damage is actually pretty useful for us to then gain 16 block. So these are going to work really well together. We did need some defensive options. We weren't quite getting enough block during the fights, so that worked out pretty well. And then we bought a few more potions as well. So we've got a triple your block just for any kind of worrying moments where we look like we're about to take lethal damage, and we've also got a vulnerable potion to try and get us through an elite fight when we bump into the next one. We then went for another event where we took 7 damage. It was the bridge where you get to lose a card or take some damage to select a different one, and after a couple of attempts we did hit a defend, a normal defender. We wanted that to be removed, so we took that, so that's actually worked in our favour. So 7 damage to remove a defend, pretty good overall. So that left us on 46 HP. We then went into the second merchants. We still had about 900 gold, and we took, let's have a quick look. We've bought a card, which was this one, Spite. So Spite deals 6 damage if you lose HP this turn, draw a card. The reason why I've added this, even though I said we were trying to remove cards from our deck, it's 0 cost, so it means we can always play it, and it essentially replaces itself. So every turn we're going to be taking damage, and every turn we can play this for free. Bearing in mind this is essentially just going to be free damage. It's going to play, we're going to play it, we're going to get some damage off on the boss, and then it's going to replace itself with a new card. So this effectively doesn't really add any cards to our deck, it just is going to cycle through our deck, so it's pretty useful. We did also buy Relic, so we added Waffle because at this point we were quite low on health, and this also gives us some max HP. So that's put us back up to 87, so now looking at like much better. And then we also picked up a potion as well. So we're in a good spot now. We're about to take on the elite fight, and then we're going to be looking to, still got 500 gold, and we've got a few fights to potentially push through here. So we are still aiming for that merchant up there. All right, let's see how it goes. All right, so we made it to the next shop. So let me just talk you through how it's gone. So we've managed to kill the elite down here. That fight went extremely well. We smashed through the night gang. That's one of the harder fights actually, especially if you've got a smaller deck, but because we're quite aggressive in terms of our damage scaling, we managed to use a couple of potions, and we managed to whittle down the hex knight pretty fast, and that stopped our deck from getting shrunk too much. So we killed that one pretty handily with some AoE. We then moved on and we grabbed a bag of preparation, which gives us an extra card draw. We also did manage to nab a potion belt as well, so we've now got 5 slots for potions. Now this fight actually went pretty badly for us, so we had some bad draws. We got a lot of damage from the burn cards that it puts into your deck. We just managed to unfortunately take 42 damage, but we did get through that and healed back 8. We did get from that fight a mummified hand, which is actually really good for our build because we've got a lot of powers that we need to get off. Every time we use a power, it's going to make one of our cards in our hand 0 cost basically. So at that point we've gone through a heal because we were quite low. We've then managed to go for a normal fight. We did lose 2 max HP from getting hit once at the start, but wasn't too big a deal. So we're still on 85 health. And then we've hit the shop with about 500 gold, and we've just spent all that gold. So this is the last opportunity. Looking at the map, we're about to do the end boss. We've got potential to go for an elite fight, or we can go for an event and then an upgrade. So we're not going to have much opportunity to spend any gold now. And we know this boss is going to be it's going to be one where we're going to need to smash it pretty quick. So this is quite a tricky boss, this one. So we're looking at basically stocking up now for the boss. You'll see that because I'd used my potions in the elites, I've managed to get a few more potions ready. We've got a vulnerable to front load some damage. A duplicate, it was a really strong one use effect that's going to help us to kill a boss, so we're going to keep all of this. And we also have regen potion just in case. It basically does 5 health, and then the next turn it does 4, and then 3, and so on. So that's going to net us 15, I think, total health, which is useful because we are going to be taking our own health off. So health is currency. That's going to give us 15 more to spend. There was a few options here in terms of how to approach this, but I was thinking we've already got a really well scaling damage source. What we need to do is actually we need to be defensive while we're trying to get those powers off early on. So I've managed to pick up permafrost. The first time you play a power, each combat I gain 6 blocks, so the powers now act as block cards. So while I'm trying to get my engine online, I'm still defending myself a little bit. And we also went for Vambrace. So the first time you gain block from a card, each combat, double the amount gained. So that's going to be really useful because every single card in our deck is going to essentially act as the double value the first time we use it. And that's going to be really helpful in managing to survive long enough to get our engine online to actually wipe out the boss in a couple of hits. Right, so this isn't the strongest build, but it's definitely going to be capable in lower ascension ranks of taking this. So the option we've got now, the choice we've got is, do we want to get one more relic to help us, or do we want to cruise through, getting an event that could be helpful, or may give us nothing, could get some more potions from an event maybe, and we've got to think about what elite haven't we fought yet. Now I think we opt for a safe route. We're pretty happy if we fight the boss now. I'm pretty confident we're going to win. We don't really know what this is going to be. We've got an idea. There's a couple of elites that are potentially going to be quite damaging to us, so I think we play the safe route. We don't push for an extra relic, and we just go for the event, and then we go through the campfire. So let's have a quick look. So we've got, whenever you exhaust a card, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. I mean, very small effect, we don't really care about it, but it didn't take any health of us, so we're good to go. So all that's left to do, we have the option to upgrade a card. We could probably use the extra currency, so we can fit 17 more health in. So we've got to weigh, is that going to be, that's going to be nice. Is that going to save us 17 health across the fight? I'm not too sure. We do still have the relic that's going to upgrade 3 random cards, so I think we chance it. I think we just go for the extra health and we just go straight into the boss fight. So let's see how this one goes. Alright guys, so here out in the queen fight, this queen is basically going to do a lot of debuffs to us, and we're also going to be getting hit quite hard by her minion, which is Torchhead Amalgam. Now we can focus on Torchhead, who's got 200 health. If we kill Torchhead, the queen essentially just starts hitting us even harder than the minion does. So the strategy here really is to focus on the queen and just whittle her down as quickly as we can. So we're going to start with an Inferno. We're going to try and get our powers online. Now one option here, we could duplicate. Don't forget we can make double of any ability. So we need to think about which ability do we want to double. So we could double Inferno. That gives us 18 damage every time we take health, and I think that's probably the way to go because that ends up being a lot of damage over the course of the game. So I'm going to drink this now. I'm going to pop 2 Infernos. Now we're doing 18 damage, and don't forget we've got a mummified hand, so every time we play power we're going to get a 0 cost card. We've now got 2 of them. I'm going to first of all try and draw into another power, which we do. We're going to get Stampede off, and it's going to make another 0 cost card. We've got an upgraded strike. We also have an Iron Wave. We've got a brand. So I'm going to use the brand to get rid of the... that was a bit... It's a 0 cost, but it's weaker, so let's get rid of it. We're then going to just start slamming the queen as hard as we can. We should have put a vulnerable on, but we're actually going to save that vulnerable until we've got a few more stacks of strength. So this is the difficult part about this fight, is that the boss essentially puts you in a situation where you've got to play one of 3 cards, which is really damaging if you get all your, say, your block cards stacked up here, because you can only choose one of them. But luckily for us, these are powers, so we don't really care. Which one do we want to get off first? Do we want to start scaling our strength, or do we want more mana? I think we actually need the strength scaling to start happening straight away, so we're going to use that one. We're going to get 18 block from there, and we're going to put 6 damage on the boss. Okay, so we're going to be hitting for 24, so we are looking at defensive this time. It's going to scale our strength. We're going to get some card draw now. We're going to get an Iron Wave and a Defender as well. So just the works. Oh, missed out. It was actually 3 stacks. It was actually 36 damage. Okay, at this point, I think we're going to need. We're only getting hit for 22. We do need the mana. We do have the option to double block here, so that's going to give us 16. So we're going to go for the extra, and we're going to exhaust our strike. That's not looking too bad. So now I'm going to drink, so we're going to just regain some of that health for later. So boss is on 255, we're now on 10 strength, so we're actually looking pretty good. Let's see what we draw into. I'm thinking I think at this point we're going to start putting vulnerable on the boss, and we're going to go for this one. So we're not taking too much damage, we're doing alright here. So here comes the big hit. This is going to be 48 damage. We can play one of these. We probably want the card draw. Do we want the damage? We don't care about, well, we could actually kill that now, and that would very quickly scale up our health, our damage, sorry. That's going to get, we don't need to block at this point, so that's worked out pretty well. Do some more damage to the boss. So 35 damage incoming, but we are at a point now where every attack is going to be doing a lot of damage. So we've got 28 damage on the boss. We can brand, do an extra 18. I think we'll just try and survive this turn with the blocks. So we're going to take a little bit, but probably 1 or 2 more attacks and we're done. Okay, GG's. Alright guys, that just about wraps up for part 4 of the Learn to Slay series. We were successful on this occasion taking down the tower, but just remember that in most instances runs are going to end in failure. Any build guide that you watch, any guide on YouTube especially, there's been a lot of runs gone into the game before they've got to the point where they've managed to film a guide. So most runs are going to end in failure. It's not that you suck at the game, it's just that you need to unlock more potions, more cards, you need to work out what the enemies do, and you need to have some idea about the different builds. And with that in mind, stay tuned, because I will be releasing some build guides for each character coming very shortly. And if you did find this helpful guys, please make sure you click on that like and subscribe button and support the channel. Alright, till next time, stay tuned for more on the way.